Hello and welcome to the Tinker Cards video gallery. Today we're going to make this card here, working with stamps from Stamplorations, and I used their current Stamp Club set Mixed Media Elements to build parts of a background, i.e. the script, the stamps and the circly bits, which sort of look a little bit like baubles. So I thought that'd be quite good for a Christmas card. And I'm combining it with sort of like last year's set that was out around Christmas, which was Joyful, and from that I got the sentiment here and the sleigh. The Oh Christmas Tree set, which is the Christmas tree and my main sentiment, and the Vignette Christmas Block, where I got the snowflakes from. So basically what it is, it's a collage stamped card, and I only used one colour for stamping, and I used generational stamping and different types of stamps to get the depth that I wanted. Like you probably can see with the script, it's very see-through, so it actually appears lighter when you stamp it first generational as compared to the Christmas tree, which is quite a solid type of shape, and that appears to be darker, so it comes more into the foreground really. And the circly type of shape as well, it's got like solid bits that make it look just look and appear darker than the actual ink from the script here. I also wiped some off the top here so that it's even fainter, adding more depth. And the other thing I did was, now I've forgotten what I wanted to say. Hello, here we go. Yeah, and this is the original colour I worked with anyway, and then I just used a colour to make the sleigh pop. So I used the same ink for watercolouring plus the yellow to give it the golden effect. Oh yeah, the other thing I was wanting to mention was that I've also used some textured card here. So I'm not quite sure whether you can really see it on the, oops, that's my lamp here actually appearing in the video. It's like a linen effect card, so sometimes one can be a bit, do I really want to stamp on that, because it might break up the image. And you're not getting a solid enough color. Now for this type of collage stamping, it's actually quite nice because it just adds texture and interest to it. Whereas if you probably want to sort of brilliantly sort of like color images in and go very much into shading, then that might not be a choice of card. But I also wanted to show that you can use it and you can stamp on it and you still can get some really good results. So that's the card I'm going to make now. I've got my base card here, and I have a sort of like a side fold one because it just fitted quite nicely with the sleigh rather than doing it tenfold. Okay, right, here we go. Let's get the stamps out. So I got my sleigh already stamped in archival ink for watercolouring. I've got my script stamp on here, so you need to be careful. It's the lines from the T that are always sort of quite good to recognise, and that's a good indicator which way the stamp is around. So I'm going to stamp it like this, so you can see that at the top here of the writing, so the words are the right way around. Otherwise it could look a little bit odd. So I'm going to do this side on because I've got this really big massive block here, and it's a bit easier to do with that. I'm using Concord Crush ink, which is a retired Stampin'Up ink. I'm actually sort of a bit sad because I quite like the way it is. It's sort of a... if I could open this now. It's a bluey purpley colour, and I quite like it. It's actually one of my favourite colours from Stampin'Up. Unfortunately, they've discontinued it a while ago. So, but I'm still using it. So it's a purpley blue, which, given that I'm going to use yellow with, I quite like that because they sort of show each other off a little bit. So I'm just going to stamp off once, and then I'm going to place it where I want it to go and just go for it. So that's number 1. And if there are bits that might be coming across like a little bit smudged, that's okay. It's all part of the character. Stamp off again. And stamp it. Here we go. There we go. And you can see even with just stamping off, you're getting quite a little bit of shading, which is actually quite nice. So stamp off again. And this is where I've used my finger just to wipe a little bit up, sort of ink off across the top. And I just need to make sure that I'm not using the exact finger for my card now, otherwise I'm going to end up with a fingerprint on it. So here we go. But short of actually getting some tissue out. So you can see you're getting a sort of like a nice added shading. Some is more at the back and other bits are more to the front. Okay, so that's my script used. And next we are probably just stamping with whatever I just got to hand. When I started off doing the card, I actually had my sleigh already coloured and fussy cut, so I was placing it sort of around to see where my elements were going to go. But because I'm doing it again, it's not as important. That's just a tip. If you do collage stamping and you're not quite sure where you want your things to go, cut your main element out, or use the stamp to place it and then just move it around and see where you want things to go. So let's just do the Christmas tree next. So I've just left all my stamps on my block, so that goes somewhere here. This is probably going to look slightly different to the other one that I made, but that's not a problem. So let's just go on to the stamps which I got on the other side here. And it's really quick card. I didn't want it to be a lengthy video today because I've done a few of them of late, and I just wanted it to be quicker because I don't want you to get bored in any way, shape or form just by watching these. So that's number next. And then what else have I got? So I had the numbers down the side, which I got on the block here, and they're from the mixed media element set, and I've got some other stamps on here. Just forget about them. They're just measured up for some other project that I'm doing. So I had them somewhere here. That's that. And then next I probably could stamp the sentiment at the bottom, which I got on here. So I was a bit worried initially about the sentiment because it's like a solid color with white clear writing and how visible that would be. So I'm just it did turn out okay on the original card. I just need to see here now with this how it will come out, because I've got the script slightly lower than on my original one. If it doesn't work out, you can always stamp it again and then on a strip of white card and just fussy cut it and stick on. But it's visible, you can read it, so that's fine, that's good enough for me. So next we could just stamp the ho ho ho. Let's just do that. Now I did not use generational stamping, as you might have noticed, for my greeting here. Neither am I going to use it for the ho ho ho. So I think I'll pop that somewhere around here. And then I just stamp my 3. Here. that's that. And then we got these bobbly things. Let's just stamp them off. They went somewhere here. And the snowflakes. I've got them again on a big block, so just ink them up, stamp them off again, and then they go on here. And all that is left to do now is to colour this sleigh, fussy cut it, and then stick it on, and the cart is ready. So what I did, I just used a little bit of crushed curry to get my golden colour in. So if I just quickly try and do that, and you can see this is going to be a really, really quick card. So it's quite easy to colour in, and all I do is I just pick up ink directly from the ink pad. Yeah, I'm not that good with shading, so this is an ideal stamp to colour if you are not that experienced. And I'm quite happy to just pick the ink up and put it down really where it needs to go. So that's this. I'm smudging a little bit this time around. I was a bit steadier, but it's probably because I think I need to be very quick. That's always a bit of a not so good a thing for me. If I think I need to be quick, then I just start getting a bit more messy, and sometimes things aren't working out quite like I want them to work out. Let's put it like that. I mean, you can use also sort of pro markers or alcohol markers, of course, to colour, but I just wanted to keep it pretty simple with just a couple of colours, because sometimes that is all you need, and one can get a little bit intimidated by things being very colourful and needing loads of stash. I think with a few good stamps and a few good techniques, there's actually, you don't need that much. It's almost like just how you use your things. So I'm almost done with the swirly bits here. And it's a really, really quick card to make this. Probably if I hadn't talked quite as much, I'd already be finished. It's half the battle, isn't it? So, and with here what I do is I just sort of lay my colour down first where I got the edge type of area, and then I just pull it out into the lighter ones for the shading really, as you can see here. So it gives me sort of a darker and a lighter area. Come up in here again, and then just across the back I thought leave that all nice and golden. So that is number one. I'll clean that brush a bit later so the yellow can go, and all I need to do now is use my Concord crush and colour in the rest of the sleigh. And this colour, when I started with my other my first time around, it is sort of, it's quite surprising. It behaves differently. It's as if it's got some different colours come out and different strengths of it. So as you can see here, it's sort of like there's a red in it, a bit of a blue, and whatever. It's actually quite interesting to colour with it. It makes it a little bit sort of, how is it going to turn out now? I suppose it's a little bit like some of the brushes can be when you put them in when you put them on, because some of them sort of have like different shades contained in the crystals. So I'm just going to, you might notice that I'm just dabbing a little bit off because I want it to be light up here. I don't want it to be too dark, so I don't really want the red to come out that much at this point. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a water down first before I do the rest. So I'm just going to pop a little bit more in here, draw that in, bring it up the sides, and yep, this is not the best card for watercolouring either, but I sort of quite nevertheless want to use it. So, and all I've got to do now is do my leaves, and I'm going straight in with the darkest colour that I got there from my ink pad. So that's, I would say this is pretty much like I want it to be. And all that needs doing now is fussy cutting and popping up on some foam bits, and then my card is actually ready. So I'm not quite sure whether you'd want to watch me fussy cutting this, because I'm a bit slow. I'm not the fastest. So what I think I'll do is I'll leave it anyway. So if you want, I'll leave the video running for cutting, and if you want it to just switch off, then that's fine. You basically got it how to do the card, and a couple of tips I have about I had this time around about the collage stamping. And I like using a sort of individual stamps. I know you can get stamps that are already sort of designed as a collage, but you got a bit more variation if you use your own. And I mean, for here, for example, instead of the tree, you could use from the Joyful set, you could use the stocking or the wreath, and just play around with those. Do stamp the wreath and sort of just add some different sort of stamping. Stamp the wreath for a texture, and then if you were to use the stocking, you could try and create a mask for the outline of the stocking and stamp on the inside with just the snowflakes or something. So there are loads of possibilities that you can use. I might actually try and do that for another card and post that next week. So just playing around with what you got and creating your outlines, your shapes and your layers really. And you don't need many colours, because generational stamping is actually quite good to get a tone on tone look. So that's, yeah, from a sort of what is a bold ink pad. I suppose it does work best with bold ink pads, I must say. So if you got a pastel ink and then doing generational stamping, it could just, you might just not see enough and get enough structure into the card. So a bold one like this Concord crush is actually quite good. So that's actually, I'm almost done with this sleigh now. So that's that. So yeah, it's going to sit on here. And let me get my foamy bits out. Where did they all go? I had loads of them earlier. Like it's always the case when you're looking for something, it's never quite where you think it ought to be. So let's pop that here. That's there. And that's going to go here. Okay, and then that was basically 20 minutes, lots of chatting, and the card is done. So these are really good ones to make if you want to do a batch of them, really, for sending. And depending on how sort of high your foam pads are, you can even get them in with just normal post in the UK rather than large letters, which of course if you have to send loads of cards, it always adds to the postage. So this is the card that I just made, and this was the one I made before, so they're pretty similar, aren't they? And yeah, that's it. So the two cards. That's it from me for today. Thank you for watching, and I shall be back again soon. Bye.